listening to the Deep Purple Podcast, a fan podcast about one of the most legendary bands of all time, Deep Purple. We take a look at the music, history, and people behind the band Deep Purple and beyond.
Welcome to the Deep Purple Podcast, the first and only podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Today's episode is episode number 252, Bernie Marsden and About Time 2. And coming to you from the timely suburbs of Chicago, I'm your host, Nathan Beaudry.
And coming to you from the suburbs of Providence, I'm your co-host, John Mardi Gras Matola.
And coming to you from the nocturnal suburbs of Stockholm, I'm Jonatan. Hello, motherfuckers, Hedlin. In here with you.
Yes.
Little Bruce Dickinson.
It's funny because that was not a thing at all until you made it a thing. And then suddenly one of our biggest newspapers had that as a headline. Bruce Dickinson. Sometimes I just want to go, hello, motherfuckers.
Oh, really?
It's so many
They listen
years
to our
later,
show.
too. Yeah.
Bruce never disappoints.
No.
He can
Glad
always
to be
read
back.
the room.
Like Nelson. Or no, Jimbo. Jimbo Jones. That's it.
All right, John, Mardi Gras, what's going on?
All right. Well, let me see. By the time this comes out, right, we'll be in February, right?
Yeah, this is going to come out on Abraham Lincoln's birthday.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And my dad's birthday.
Oh, right. Yes. And yeah, who your dad and then who was that other guy?
Abraham Lincoln.
But yeah, so as we know, here in the U.S., Mardi Gras is celebrated in February, but this also starts my new theme. So I was thinking, I used to do all the Rhode Island facts. I know that you guys kind of lamented how I kind of stopped doing that. So I decided that I'm going to do all 50 states.
All 50 states.
Yeah, so
Okay.
one fact from each. So Mardi Gras
So
was
you're starting with Louisiana?
Alabama, home to America's first Mardi Gras celebration in Mobile.
Really?
Yep.
I
And-
did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until just now. So we're all going to learn something over the next many weeks, and I may diverge if something really good comes up. But the other thing about this is if I go alphabetically,
Then
Connecticut
you won't
will
lose your
be
place.
Connecticut will be in 5 weeks. So stay tuned.
Home of many patrons.
Yes. So who knows? I might be John the Gardo Matola. You don't know.
Beginning of something big.
John Butoff Williams Matola. Oh my
But
God.
yes. So anyways, yeah, I could have gone with more Rhode Island facts, but that was so a few years ago. We're moving
What you
on.
just ran out. It's not that big, right?
No, no,
Yeah,
no,
true.
it's not.
Oh, yes.
He actually covered every fact.
I figured, yeah, he ran out. He ran out.
I probably could have covered every fact.
Accomplished.
So
There's
I'm
only
gonna start
30
it
or 40
now.
facts.
yeah, you guys could come back to me and just be like, all right, this was a colossal failure, but I'm going to try and stay on point with this one.
All right. Well, yeah, and you're in alphabetical order, so you can't lose your place. So
Yep. So
Welcome.
Alabama.
welcome to Jonathan, our good friend, a good friend from Sweden, who we haven't had on the show in, I don't know, some amount of time. I don't remember. We
Yeah, I
did
mean,
an
it
episode.
melts together because we do talk a lot, right?
Yeah,
on
we
the
talk like
chat.
every day, so it feels like you're on every
Yeah.
episode.
So, but it was a while. It was before So Far So Pod So What.
That's
Mm.
right.
But that's
yes,
been mentioned on the show, not as often as I mention you guys, and that's it just happens, like almost every episode of that show. But I think it's because you're huge Megadeth fans, and also I listen to you every week talking, so I very often mention it, as often as Nick Pot of Thunder. For some
Yes.
reason, always gets in there as well. But yeah, that's the news. Megadeth podcasting
I'm
now
looking
as well.
forward to
Same.
being on the show at some point.
Yeah, whenever we've got time, because we are very, I mean, you guys do take your time as well, but me and Greg is usually 3 hours when we get going. It's very long, really. But we
Yeah,
like
I
John,
mean-
when you were on our show, John, that was also a long one.
Yes. Yeah. Well, there were a lot of people. There were a lot of people
Yeah.
involved in that episode. So
But it's
Yeah,
our number one episode, though, streaming wise. So it was worth it.
You got
Hell
the
yeah.
Matola bump.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's right.
That's true.
That was
Haskin cast got the Matola bump too. So
That's right.
see, anything I touch turns to gold.
You think it could be
John
Kiss?
Midas Matola here.
It might be
Yeah.
Kiss, though.
Yeah.
I think. Not to rain on your parade, but I think Kiss is one of those magnets, I think.
You know, all
Mm.
the people listening to those episodes are being like, these guys don't know what they're talking about. That was wrong. That didn't happen on that day.
Do you get
I
that
could
a lot?
tell because they were wearing different costumes.
Do you
Oh,
get a lot of
God.
that in your emails and whatnot, in your DMs? Do you get a lot of that? Like, you got this wrong, you got that wrong? Because I don't really.
No. The Deep Purple people are pretty cool, and when we do get something wrong, they're usually like,
Respectful.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
usually, they're not like, we do get that though. Like, these guys, my favorite is, these guys claim to be experts.
You never once.
Opposite.
You never once.
Never.
No, at the very beginning, you went out of your way to let people know we're not experts.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll literally be like, this is the first time we've ever heard this album. We don't know anything about this band. Like, you guys say you're experts, but you got this wrong. What are you talking about? We don't.
What was the one you told me about that somebody had said that about? It was a recent episode, like within the past couple of months, and we were just cracking up about it because it's like at the beginning of the episode, didn't we literally say that we didn't
Yeah, I
know
think-
anything about the album or the
Yeah, I
background?
think it was
and,
an album that neither of us had ever heard before.
and we were
Yeah.
coming in fresh to it, and they're just like, "Oh, what a couple of
These
experts!"
so-called experts. Yeah, by you. I don't know.
All
But
right.
anyway,
Yeah, well, I mean, I think most of the shows, right, they have disclaimed that. We never disclaimed that, but we never had that problem. But with I don't know, with the Maiden thing, usually someone will just compliment, or not compliment, but add to. You know,
Yeah.
if you have a fact, they will add to it. Like, okay, in fact, it was even deeper than that. It was like this because people are so excited
Get a
than
lot
that.
of
And
that.
that's cool, and I'm sure you get that. But that's how you learn, really. Or
Yeah,
like
it's a good
throwing
thing
some
of-
stupid shit out and see when if someone corrects
Yeah.
you, it's usually a good thing. If
it's
they have a good
it's a good
attitude
mix
about
of like things that was in my show notes that I forgot to mention, or like things I just never knew, and they add to it. So it's pretty cool.
Well, other than that, I saw Deep Purple since last also for the first time in my life, so that was cool.
That's right.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yes.
how was
I
that?
filmed. It was really cool. You can watch on YouTube. I filmed the keyboard solo and Perfect Strangers. And that's because you talked about that before too, right? With the camera. What I do is I never use my phone during the show except for one song that I pick, and then I film the entirety of it. Because before you had like these 25 seconds of a song, and it's like, oh, I want to hear the solo or whatnot. So that's what I did for that, and I put it up so you can like have some of the experience I had. But it was really
Nice.
cool. And Gillan, he's old, right? He's like, he was born 45, I think.
Yeah, 70s. He's gonna be 78 this year, right?
So like both his demanor and
79.
singing
Ooh.
are way younger than him. The way he just acts is very relaxed. Just walks about and the kind of dad dance happens and
Yeah,
good singing.
shuffles around a little bit. And...
The only problem is like Highway Star. They should actually put that one to bed. I think. Love the song, but it's tough for him to sing it. Like he's struggling from start to finish. At least he did when I saw them. But other than that, amazing show. Really, very impressive. And finally, I got to see Pace. That was the important. See Pacey play drums, and it was as good as
And he's
you could dream
somebody
of.
else
Really,
that's, like,
what a great rock
so
drummer.
super relaxed.
Yeah, very laid back swing and still like that power. Yeah, so that was
he's
great.
got a pretty soft touch with the drums, but power too. He's really
Yeah, but he's got like
dynamically
these
very
huge cymbals, right? So he doesn't have to hit them that hard. He can kind of work the acoustics of them in a very musical way, I think.
Yep.
But I don't know about these drum shells, if they're huge or Bonham huge or a bit smaller. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Big cymbals, really big cymbals. Crash is like a 24.
Yeah, better to hide, but like that. There was that show where Ringo had there was a death threat against Ringo when they were still touring all over the world, and he said he had his cymbals like perfectly perpendicular to the ground, like as a shield. So he's hitting the cymbals like that.
80s metal, they do that with the toms, The toms like binoculars in front of you.
Yeah, binoculars. Yeah, good luck taking a shot at an 80s drummer.
Yep.
Gonna get a shot in on Neil Peart.
Looked cool though. I like those spaceship drum setups. They look cool.
Oh yeah, it's completely encased. There's 8 bass drums, so you can do double bass no matter where you're positioned.
Oh well, then we're getting into pervert territory. I think that's perverse when you got more than two kick drums, you're like, you got 2 legs.
Oh boy. All right. Well, hey folks, we are coming at you as a show that is 100% listener supported and ad free. So if you receive some value for our show, please consider giving us some value back. You can support our show a number of ways. One is by leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. 2 is by buying some merch at our Etsy store. You can also become a patron on Patreon or on PayPal for as little as $1 a month, have access to our patrons only Discord. And you can also get a link to the rating spreadsheet, and you can donate on Cash App using $DPPOD or support us on Ko-fi. So thank you very much to all of you for your support. You can also check out some like-minded shows, including 2 by our guest host, Jonatan, which is Maiden A to Z, and So Far, So Pod, So What, the Megadeth podcast. And he will be he'll be on that network with us there at Deep Dive Podcast Network.com. I own all the deep.coms. Upcoming shows, as of the release of this, I will have already attended John's birthday show for Glenn Hughes with some patrons, but I don't have a recap for you because it hasn't actually happened yet. So in a couple of weeks, I will have that for you. But Vi Satriani playing Chicago, buy some tickets, come meet me there, or contact me if you're interested. I might have tickets left. I might have them. It's still kind of up in the air, so it's going to be kind of a first come, first serve thing.
Are they playing the same show, Nate? I gotta ask, because I've been thinking about this every time. Are they playing the same show, or are they sharing, like they have a show each?
No, they're actually. I think they're playing together. I think they're
cool.
gonna. I
That's
think
really
it's gonna be
cool.
kind of like they each have their own band, but they're gonna be kind of like playing together, and it's gonna be kind of like G3, but I guess G2.
But I guess in
From what I
G3 they did
understand.
like a tune, right? They did a tune together, all of them, which was like
Hmm.
the fun number. But it'd be
Yeah.
cool if they shared like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 songs on
I'm
stage.
sure there'll be some fun, like,
Mhm.
They'll
shared
do
guitar
Smoke on the Water for
wangery
sure.
going on.
I think they did that before. Smoke on the Water was the song for like bringing everyone up and
Oh,
solo.
really?
Yeah, I think it was.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Anybody can play it. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Never seen either of them live, so that'd be really cool. All right. So here we are, Bernie Marsden's first solo album. This kind of came about in a weird way, but I think I know the answers to this already. But John, any experience with Bernie Marsden solo or this particular album?
I don't actually. I had to look it up really quick prior to the show to see what album it was. I assumed it was his first because we hadn't done his solo stuff before. So yeah, so I actually haven't really heard any of his solo albums. I might have like in the later 90s or 2000s or whatever. I think I did pick up one, but overall, like, no, I've only heard him in Whitesnake, and then of course the other stuff that we heard for his tribute episode and that kind of thing. So not familiar at all, but I don't know. As I always say as a disclaimer, I could be wrong. There could be something in there. We're like, hey, I heard that before. So we'll see.
All right. And Jonathan?
We did the Martin Birch special that was supposed to be like a relaxed summer holiday thing that my friend Matthias wanted to do. It ended up in like being 7 hours, a hell lot of work. but that like made me now I'm quite familiar with everything he produced, almost. At least bits of it, and half of it you had already done. Really, you had done a lot of those albums. I had came in with that, but this one was included in our. We had this like a song example from this one. I think second to last song, penultimate track of the record, and that's still the only song I've heard. I listened to bits today, but I figured like I shouldn't spoil the the first listen just to have listened once. It's not gonna bring me any more real knowledge. So it's better to come in and be a blank page, I think, which is kind of the case. And then when we started that series, he was still alive, I think. So in the middle of it, I had to record a new intro for an episode, kind of paying tribute to the rest in peace and all that, and kind of dedicating the episode to him. And of course, there were quite a few guys that we talked about that had died, but this happened during the production of that series. So, and that's, I think, when you and Reed started talking about doing this episode. So back in the summer.
I think you kind of sent me that track and we shared a little bit, and then I listened to the whole album a couple times, but it was very like distracted listening, doing things. So like,
Right.
yeah, I feel like this is gonna be my first real serious listen to it as well. So, obviously huge Bernie Marsden fan and love everything that he does. So, before we get into that and kind of break down the beginning parts of the album, and there's not really much I have as a background, but we'll get into track by track who all the players are on this album, because it's an impressive lineup. But before we do that, we want to thank our executive level patrons coming in at the in memoriam tier, the wonderful late Jerry Kelly. At the $25 Uncommon Man tier, we have Ovis Nakvi and Purple Maniac. At the 15 Squid tier, we have Alan. At the $10 Good Doctor tier, we have Dr. Mike Catan. Somebody get me some doctors. Turn it up to $11 tier, Clay Wambacher, Frank Thielgard Mortensen, Mickelstein, Will Porter, PhDPP, and Michael Bagford. And at the $10 Someone Came tier, we have Ryan M., Jeff Bryce, Victor Campos, Better Call Saul Evans, and Peter from Illinois. And at the Hughes Oween by 2033 tier, we have Fielding Fowler.
Ooh.
All right. Thank you to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. All right. So, And About Time 2 is the name of the album. Well, I won't even get into the cast of characters on this album, because it changes every song. So on every song, I can kind of announce it. There's a lot of different folks, but obviously we already, even without any of the Deep Purple crossovers, we could have strong enough connections with just Bernie Marsden to do this episode, but you'll see how many Deep Purple crossovers there are as we get into it. But yeah, talking about the album, we've got, it is produced by Martin P.C. Birch. He's using the PC Police Constable nickname on this one. I don't know if that's because of a recent run-in with the law. There's usually a story behind his... Do you know the story on that one?
No, PC Principal I thought of right now. The politically correct principal.
Oh, yeah. I don't think they had that term.
Yeah, with those fat sunglasses. Great character. But no, I actually don't know the story. I know a few of them, like 5 or 6 from doing that series. But they're all kind of silly. It's usually about him acting like a 5-year-old in some context.
But yeah, so we get to the album cover here, which is kind of a good one. I like this one. If you guys want to tell me what you think of the album cover here for And About Time 2.
Oh boy, another literal album cover.
Yes, very literal.
I feel like every time we see these guitar player albums, like the one that we saw with the Gary Moore debut, where he's just like
on the streets, and he's
back on the streets, and he's like being released from prison, and this one's like About Time 2, and he's like by a time clock. It's just like, I don't know, it's so funny.
And his boss has his phone, has his watch out, and he's like pointing to the time on his watch.
Yeah. I actually think that's kind of cool though, because it's kind of like literal, but it's kind of funny because it's telling a bit of a story, like with the boss being like, "You're late, Bernie."
Yeah, plus he's wearing this like white coat, so you get a feeling of maybe earlier industrial times or something. When the boss is like all above. He's the professor of whatever they're doing. I don't know. I also see a story in it, and it goes back in time a little bit. I don't know, but maybe it's just sepia.
Yeah, it looks like a lab coat or something.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
but it doesn't look like a lab. It looks like a dirty, like a dirty garage or a factory or something.
Yeah, and Bernie's got the coveralls on, so he looks like it could be like he's working on a car. You got the old time clock there, plus that sepia tone kind of gives you that back in time look, even though this was like 79, so it wasn't like it was the other day, but still.
my first restaurant job, I had a time clock like that with the little punch cards, and you'd cha-ching,
Oh yeah, my first job too.
yeah.
My
But
second job, we had a punch card, yeah. But
Yeah.
I think it was digital. But
my
still.
question is this: so it's what? It's a little. It's about 8:52 or so, and the guy's pointing to. So, what time was he supposed to be? It looks like he's punching in early. Oh, maybe he's upset that he's like punching in early and
Well,
milking the
either that
time.
or he's 52 minutes late.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I guess.
He should have been there at 8.
Or 22.
He's very
At least.
late. Yeah. I guess it could
Oh, he's
be.
clearly late. He's a guitar player, you know.
But-
Yeah,
He's
sure.
really late.
And
That's
Bernie
for
looks like
sure.
he has like no respect for this dude. He's like, but I
know,
like the maybe the kind of double meaning of the album. I'm assuming since it's his solo album, it's a kind of, and about time I have a solo album
Yeah.
too. So
Yep.
I
Before I
kind of like
forget.
that. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
Yeah, I
it
kinda
looks
like
like I can't tell if he's like holding on to himself or it like looks almost like he's pointing at himself like, who, me? Am I late?
That's defending his honor, I think.
Yeah.
You know, he's just like, I'm a
What?
rock star. I'm a rock star. I'm gonna like show you very soon. That's the
Yeah.
face he's making. There's no remorse in his eyes, is there?
Nope.
No, very little.
Really, no guilt.
You wonder
Nope,
if he
he's
ever had
a
like 'cause,
rocker.
he was in. I mean, this is 79. He'd been playing in bands forever at this point. So like, did he ever have a job where he had to punch in?
I would
No.
guess probably not, or maybe in the early days to support himself before music, but I'm me just guessing.
I have his book back here, and I actually looked through it. I can't find any reference in the book of this album at all.
Really?
Weird. Yeah,
Hmm.
like sometimes they'll just gloss over an album in 2 or 3 pages, but this had nothing that I could find. Unless I'm missing it. Tell me if you've got a copy and I'm just missing it. But
I mean, I've read some autobiographies where it's very curious that whoever's writing it will just skip over like complete albums that
yeah,
they've done, and even like a paragraph would be like, oh, and they don't include it, and it could have been something like that for time. Maybe he just was like, yeah, this isn't really worth writing about for whatever reason. I don't know.
that'd be great. Like if I was like Paul McCartney, I'd write an autobiography of just with all this like completely meaningless, like just like inconsequential stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, and then we headed to the studio and did Sergeant Pepper. Anyway, after that, just like breeze over these things everyone wants to know about.
Oh, that would be great if you had like a biography of somebody of that stature and they just glossed over their biggest album.
Yeah. At this time, I was really getting into I don't know, like model trains, and starts talking about that. But
It's like, talk about Sergeant Pepper, you son of a bitch.
I want to hear about
there's
that.
enough books about it already.
Just
that's
for
the album
order,
cover.
or you said it wasn't the first, right? Because I always thought this was the first with the title and about time too, but it's not the first.
This is the first. He, I guess he was still in Whitesnake. This came out in 79.
Mhm.
But not much else about it that I can find.
All right. So his first solo project as Bernie Marsden.
Correct. Yeah, but he'd done a bunch of albums.
Yeah. So it's not,
various.
yeah. Well, we know it's not his first album by any means that he's been on, just his album.
Right.
All right.
We got the inside here. Cool. It's got the lineup. So it looks like his punch card there. It's pretty 9:30, 9:40, 10, 10:50, 9:39.
So he's like 1.5 hours to 2 hours late daily.
Yeah, assuming he's
You all agreed he
there
starts at 8, right? Obviously, it starts at 8.
Geez, no wonder that doctor/mechanic was pissed.
Yeah,
he's furious.
So you got that. Then on the other side of the little album liner, you've got another time card, but this one has the songs and the length of the songs. And then it's got all of these live shots of people that are on the album.
I'm seeing some familiar faces already, and I'm happy.
Yeah, we've got Bernie front and center. We've got Neil Murray, Cozy, Ian Paice, John Lord. Is that Simon Phillips?
Yeah.
Unmistakable Cozy.
Jack Bruce.
Yep. So
wow.
So quite a lineup.
Yeah, this is I mean already the very interesting album art.
Yeah, I'd never seen this backside. I quite like it, I have to say.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty cool. I like the whole time clock theme and how it's got the songs on the punch card and everything on the back, and then the live shots. Not groundbreaking by any means, but very cool. Probably because I've never seen it. But
And the art direction for this was done by John. I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong. Paskey or Pash, who did the Rolling Stones Sticky Fingers album, the Goat's Head Soup album. So some pretty huge iconic album covers in his catalog, as well as a bunch of other things. The design for the album cover was done by Shoot That Tiger, which we've mentioned before, is a design house that did Live in the Heart of the City and a bunch of other album covers. And the photography was done by Brian Griffin, who did a bunch of album covers, including one for Depeche Mode, which we talked about in the Discord, how the number one thing that Deep Purple fans know about Depeche Mode is they're always in the way of looking for Deep Purple albums when you're at a record store.
it's
True. That is true.
Tree, like, get out of here.
You get these
Yeah.
things out of here.
Looking
But
for
he also did
Machine
the cover
Head.
for Joe Jackson's which album was it? Shoot, I'm losing I can't think of it. The one that's got just his feet on the cover. Look Sharp, I think is the name of it, right? So I love that album. And he did that album cover as well. So pretty good pedigree. And as I said, Martin P.C. Birch produced it. We've got the album labels, nothing too fancy there, just the names of them. And then this is the back cover of the album, which is kind of like an alternate cover, which is even funnier. It's the guy in the lab coat showing the time clock. When this time he's coming in 9. This is like 9:30 on the dot, and Bernie is like sheepishly looking around the corner holding his guitar case. And like,
the scientist guy is kind of like, I told you, I told you before.
He does. He looks like a 50s scientist.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like in one of those sci-fi movies where he's just like, oh no, aliens from outer space are coming. You know.
But yet he's working in this dingy old garage.
Which is really weird. Like, what's he building, like Frankenstein there? And Bernie is like working on like cars. Like,
could be. Yeah, maybe he's just doing.
I also had Frankenstein. It crossed my head, so maybe it's Frankenstein or a Frankenstein car, perhaps.
This is Dr. Frankenstein. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird. Yeah, this guy over here is kind of dressed up weird for this whole thing, but it kind of makes it interesting.
Yeah, it gives you more questions than answers, I would say. That kind of thing. Actually, on the back side there, you see the very back with those dots. Was that also like meant to be just a clock card, or was that because did you have those things where you put your face in it, and it would kind of be shaped as your face? It's full of like a best way I can describe them, dull spikes.
Oh, I remember those. Yeah,
on your face, and you can see your face, because I saw that on the backside, which was also like
on this or on the.
Yeah, I thought it was something like that, but it was probably just a
go back.
Card. Yeah, if you go back one.
Here, like on this one.
Yeah, exactly, the way back there.
Oh yeah. Like there's a store here called Spencer Gifts.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
They probably haven't made their way to Sweden.
Actually, I know of them. Maybe because they have like one outlet. I'm not sure, but I definitely know about Spencer Gifts for some reason.
Yeah, and you would go over and they'd have that little cube with all, like you said, the little, I don't even know what you'd call them, but the way you described it's perfect. Like there's like spikes that aren't sharp on the back, and usually somebody would just put their middle finger into it and leave it on the shelf, so it's just flipping people off.
Yep.
And then you put your face in it, and you could smell just how dirty and gross.
Yeah, it always smells bad, and that iron smell too is not great either. And combined it with some saliva and shit.
That was like the two things. It was either like the middle finger that you would put in, or you'd stick your face in, which like 100 other people stuck their friggin' face in it. And to think about it now, you're just like, to do it these days would be like unthinkable. Like I just think of some of that stuff, and I'm like, how are we not all dead?
And you know what? I don't think I've ever met another human being that actually owned one of those, but I probably spent 20 hours of my life playing with them at Spencer Gifts or other stores.
I want to say that, and I could be wrong. This could be me making it up, but I feel like Derek might have had one of those in his basement.
I could believe it. It sounds like something you would have.
Just because he had a very eclectic group of items and stuff, and his parents, so it was just kind of that hodgepodge. When you went down there, you could find like anything, like so many knickknacks, and it was very cool place to go. But I like I said, I could be making that up, but I feel like
it's possible
that might have been there.
They get those little click clack balls,
Yeah.
that, are usually in a movie on like the executive's desk or something. But
I do
anyway.
remember the smell. Yes.
The smell is awful. It smelled just like a slinky, just like a
Oof.
really gross metallic
Yeah.
smell. It's probably I probably gonna die 5 years early just from like lead penetrating my skin from whatever that was made of.
Ugh.
Really gross. Anyway, a little bit off topic. Before we get into the tracks here, and again, not a heck of a lot of background on this one. We're gonna thank our next batch of patrons and get right into it. Coming in at the $7.77 Keep It Warm Rat tier, we have Michael Vader. At the $6.99 new nice price tier, we have Spike the Rock Cat and Sugar Tea. At the episode $6.66 tier, we have Steve Coldwell and Arthur Smith.
Getting support from the patron Arthur Smith.
Anton Glaving and Charles Meadows. At the $6.65 almost evil tier, we have Kenny Wymore and Ritchie Sucksmith. At the $6 What's Going On Here tier, we have Richard Fusey. At the $5.99 the old nice price tier, Robert Smith and Carl Hellberg. At the 60 kroner Scandinavian Nights tier, we have Newt Morton Johansson.
It's a great life if you know we can.
At the $5 money lender tier, we have John Convery, German Heindel, Adrian Hernandez, Jesper Alman, Alexei the Perfect Stranger Slepikov, Kev Roberts, Percival Frequency, Scott Zern, Cynthia Doobie, Raf Calf, and Coyote Bongwater. Thank you so much to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. All right, so should we talk about who's going to be on each track before we get into it, or just during the track, or what do you think?
Maybe.
Yeah, I want to know who's on. I
think?
want to know who I'm listening for.
Right.
So on this one, we the opening track is called You're the One, opening track on side 2. We've got on bass guitar Jack Bruce, on drums Ian Paice, guitar and vocals Bernie Marsden, piano, acoustic piano Don Airey, synth Moog Don Airey.
Wow.
And then on backing vocals we got a few other people, and I can get into them when the song starts, but pretty solid lineup.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly.
So let's let me open the tracks here, and let's get into it with the opening track. And that is, if I can find it here. Nope, not the screen. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. Opening track, You're the One. What's that classic rock song is reminding me of? Oof.
All right, already digging it.
Yeah, this is right in my wheelhouse.
Funky. A bit disco as well.
Cool swelling vocals there.
Oh, I'm sure you're heating that Moog in there, Nate.
Oh, that's so good.
Envelope sound, right? Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. Kind of plays along with the bass. Too.
Yeah.
They're
That's
not
kind
really
of
like-
a kind of has a Tommy Bolin quality to it.
Yeah.
true.
And he has a similar voice to Tommy. Maybe it's a little bit stronger voice than Tommy Bolin, but
Yeah.
very similar style.
Yeah, I agree. I like his voice. It's very similar to Bolin's voice, but he's definitely a stronger vocalist.
Yeah, you guys played some great examples of him singing later as well. Great singer. Not the most typical pacey patterns going on. I'm not sure I would have figured it was him, but it's amazing drumming.
Yeah, I wouldn't have pinpointed him.
But he did like a hip hop song recently, so you know, I think his groove can be applied to many places.
Alan Carville's one of the backing singers who has like a ton of credits for disco.
That was a nice move. Tang, tang. Yeah, very cool. Very slick. Very smooth. Very hip. All of the above. Probably not going to happen again in the song. You know, all those nuggets.
Nudge threw it in there as a little treat.
Yep, yep. The unison part. Oh, where do those?
That was a little pacey.
Yep. Nice tone on the solo as well.
That almost sounded like a little bolin riff.
That thing. I know if this guy is more of a bluesy player, but I think here he tried to, find another expression, somewhat of another expression, I think, in that solo. Cool anyway.
Yeah, and he does sometimes go into almost like fusion-y territory.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're the one who should kick it off. Johnny, you want to kick it off? I mean, that doesn't. Jonathan, do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, our guest.
Who's Johnny?
Johnny Hedlin.
Our guest.
Yeah, usually you do like we do, right? We usually have the guest start. That seems
yes. It's only polite.
Yeah, we could switch it around if you want, but I can start this. I think it's a solid entering, but I think it's also kind of a lot of disco that I like is this, but kind of samey, that it stays on a groove.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, then again, like you, Nate, I like some hip hop stuff, and that's usually staying very straightly onto a groove. So that doesn't necessarily be a bad thing, but maybe I could have heard more. Like they put that little nugget of chord changing that really like woke me up, which was cool. But maybe some more of that, maybe some bridge in the song would have been cool as well. So I'll give it 3.5. Right. Solid start.
0.5. All right, Johnny.
Other John?
Yeah, I'll just let you guys decide which one it's going to be every time.
All right. So I'll give it 3.5 as well. I thought it was a strong start to the album. I was really hopeful hearing the list of musicians. It was almost like a who's who, like a super group. I mean, geez, even before super groups were a thing, right? Or maybe a Deep Purple related super group for us. But yeah, I thought this was really a cool song. The thing that really made it for me, I think, was the synth or the Moog sounds. Did we decide if it was Moog or Moog?
I think it's Moog.
All right, we'll say Moog.
Yeah, I've been every 20 years or so I changed the way I'm pronouncing it. I feel confident it is Moog now.
Well, it definitely made me I think it's the I don't know the part out at the after the chorus it made me think of something from Come Taste the Band.
Yes, yep, I was thinking the same thing.
Or Stormbringer or something like that. It was one of those later Purple albums, and even though it wasn't John Lord, that had that same feel, which was really cool. But the thing that really made it for me, I guess not oddly enough, but because Bernie's a guitar player, was his vocals. We were talking about his vocals, but just hearing it, I really like his voice because he has a very melodic voice, a really cool voice to listen to. I feel like anything that we've heard him on, I'm always like, God, he's got a good voice. I love listening to him sing.
Very smooth, right? Smooth,
even
vibrato, very easy for the ears, like easy on the eyes, a good thing, kind of thing.
Smooth and kind of like higher register than you'd expect.
Yeah, and he doesn't show. He's not showing off or doing anything that that
like no ad libs, like oh hey oh that kind of stuff. No.
yeah, he's
no
not
drop.
ad libbing.
Hey,
He's not.
bow.
Yeah, he's not trying to go like up here, like Len Hughes, or he's not trying to be. He's not trying to really be anybody else. He's just trying to be a good singer in his element. So I thought that on this that really stood out. I mean I always like his guitar tone, his solos too, but this was kind of an outro solo, which didn't really do too much for me. Just because it wasn't long, it wasn't anything he wasn't trying to be showy. I think he was trying to show off the song. But yeah, I thought it was a solid opener.
And
I've also changed my pronunciation, Nate. Moog.
you're
I think
going
we
with
decided
Moog.
on Moog.
But I
think
think you
it's
guys, I
Moog, 'cause
thought
I
you guys
think,
solved it for once. Like you even went for the
No.
source. It's a
Yeah.
Dutch name, and they have the
source of
weirdest,
confusion.
they have the
'Cause when I
weirdest
was-
sounds.
When I was a young hockey fan watching Andy Moog, I learned about the Moog synthesizer and I called it Moog. And then somewhere somebody told me it was Moog, so I changed my pronunciation. And then recently, and I even went to the factory where they make them, and it was awesome. And I could swear they were calling it Moog there. But then I
Yeah.
saw like an interview with, or maybe I read it with the Bob Moog, and he said no, I pronounce it Moog. So I don't know. I don't.
And then it was like the
just-
original Dutch pronunciation is moch or something like that, you know.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Generally how they sound.
Yeah, Americans can't make those noises. I'm giving this one a 4. I really like it. I think it's a good opener, good like smooth grooving opener, you know, not a heavy rocker, but really cool.
Very smooth.
And to his voice, like I'm sure I've mentioned this on the show recently, but he recently did that trio of albums. He did the Kings, Chess, and Trios, and his voice sounds exactly the same. I mean, this album, I think the most recent one came
I
out
thought about
last
that.
year.
Mm.
He hasn't
It didn't age. The voice
no,
didn't
not
age.
at all. Not at all.
It's weird. It's almost Twilight Zone, but it didn't. It didn't really. Like it
He's
sounded the
another
same.
He doesn't have the range or anything like Gillan Hughes, but he hasn't gotten gravelly. He hasn't anything. He sounds like a young man singing in his 70s. Like, good for him. All right. So the next track up, second track on side 1, is a song called "Song for Fran."
Oh, lineup, we forgot.
Oh,
They can bring it now.
and where is it? Lineup on this one is
A bit more ballady groove here.
Yep. Well, it's for his I think.
Crispy drums.
I like the bass. It's very out front.
That's true. Yeah.
Jack.
I'm gonna
Bruce,
guess that's Jack Bruce, right?
Yep. Simon Phillips, Don Airey, and Bernie Marsden. So this is.
Oh, Simon Phillips. That's a personal fave. But I have a lot of those when it comes to drummers. But Simon Phillips, really good.
Yeah, he's incredible. How many of these killer albums he's behind?
Quite different to the opener, eh? Different approach altogether in this track.
Kind of smooth grooving background music.
Yeah, but there's nuance to it, right?
It's an instrumental.
Yep.
Short too for an instrumental.
Yeah, shorter instrumental. Fran, of course. I believe he.
A bit Gary Moore here, I think.
Oh yeah, it sounds like it could be
A little
Gary
bit.
Moore.
Very melancholic. Or at least like romantic, you know? And harmonized. A lot of harmonies on the guitar. I like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rich.
It's kind of like making the instrumental song about your. I'm assuming they were just dating or whatever at the time. I don't know when they got married, but
But a love song, basically.
is that it's an instrumental love song though?
Yeah.
Is that? Do you think that goes over well or not well?
You did Michael Schenker recently with the Pleasure Bijourette or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Bijou Pleasurette it was. It was a very, very sleazy title. But in a French way.
Pleasurette. Just a little pleasurette.
Pleasurette. Also instrumental.
That was another sounded like the end of You Keep On Moving.
There's some sounder on the electric piano at the way end too. Kind of nice.
I love it. But to your point earlier about that, the synth in the first song reminded me of "I Need Love" from that was.
That's
song
it.
from Taste
That's
of
it.
Land.
Banana.
I need okay. Song for Fran. What do you think? How do you think Fran felt about that? Do you think she wanted there to be lyrics, or maybe there's just nothing that can be said about our love because it's so strong?
I hope she didn't, because I think people used to listen to instrumental music like nothing. Everyone that listened to music did it, and I'm always, I wouldn't say angry, but I'm frustrated by the fact that a lot of people don't want to listen to instrumental music. You're canceling out a lot of good music. So I hope she felt great about it, because I did. I give it a 4. I liked it a lot.
All right. Well, they were married.
It wasn't very eventful, but it was very
passing, so.
still suspenseful and still some kind of drama in there, which I liked. It wasn't too long, so it didn't overstay its welcome and become a boring repeating kind of thing. So yeah, 4. I liked it.
All right, John.
I'll give it slightly lower. I'll give it a 3. I thought it was good. But
you wanted there to be words.
No, I don't know. I think I like a shorter instrumental, but sometimes
I think you praise some instrumentals. I gotta say for the record that you're not part of this frustration of mine. Of course you tend to you prefer the rockers, but I've heard you praise many instrumentals. So
yeah, and I mean I do. I like it. I like all sorts of instrumentals. This one I felt like maybe could have been longer.
Right.
Maybe taking us on a bit of a more of a journey, but I still liked it. I thought it was good. I like Jack Bruce in here. Okay, you could just hear him just showing up. It's like, all right, calm down.
I always laugh these days when he comes up, because he said this most ridiculous thing. I've got perfect time. It's like, you can't have perfect time. Compared to what? To the sun?
Your time. Goodness. It's like was like every former member of Cream just an asshole? Was that it?
Yes.
About how great
every member ever of that band was great band though.
Yeah.
I don't know as much about Jack Bruce. I know his playing, and I know from the stuff he's done with collab. I don't know
perfect time
as you do, but
not many have it. It's very useful.
Yeah, I mean, how do you not? You're kind of one that they were for a brief period almost the biggest band in the world. So, although I guess there's been a lot of other people in that position that haven't been giant assholes. So
that's true. Rush,
I don't know,
not as big maybe, but they were super nice.
All right, I'll give it a 3.5. I'll bridge the gap between you two. I like it. I hope Fran liked it. Like I said, she married him and stayed married with him until he passed last year. So
it was obviously great. Yes,
it wasn't enough to ruin the relationship. I think it's a really
it
nice,
worked.
Sweet song. So, all right. So the next song, thankfully, this one is not. Well, I guess maybe this one is about Fran. This one is called "Love Made a Fool of Me," and I forgot the line again.
Just say it in the beginning.
Neil Murray, Cozy Powell, Don Airey, Bernie Marsden, and the same backing vocal group from the first song.
Nice.
It's a bit TV theme again.
Yeah. Starring.
Yeah, exactly.
Sitcom theme.
Yeah, a bit, right? That's some nice drums right there. When he did that halftime thing, that was cool. Who was the drummer again?
Cozy.
Cozy. Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense that he would be cool. Pop here.
Listen to that bass from Murray.
I mean, I kind of like the kind of disco-y pop rock type of feel that he's taken on here.
Yep.
It's very pleasant sounding.
It's almost like all the family can enjoy it.
Yeah.
Almost.
I like that good, like, ascending disco bass line. Burp, 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 burp. One of my
Octaves,
favorite
of
things
course.
to do. One of the few things I could play on bass.
Yeah, I like to pull the octaves too when I play bass. Yeah, effective.
A really, really nice upbeat song, just showcasing how much of an underrated.
That's cool. Sorry to interrupt you, but that synth
No,
was cool. Come on. Sorry.
Surprised that Zoom didn't cut you out on that.
I don't know. Really?
Yeah, I know, right? Cool going to the halftime
Nice
solo.
way to enter a guitar solo. A bit of the swells. Well, volume swell.
Never heard Neil Murray play anything that wasn't amazing.
Yeah, he's great. Good feel.
I know these jerks probably knocked this album out in a ridiculously short amount of time.
3 days.
Yeah, exactly. They'll write out a chart for Don Airey and they'll just nail it in one take.
I like that last lead. Do. That thing. That was nice too.
Yeah.
Just at the end, really.
Wow. Really nice fun
Like
song.
when you fade out on something good. The worst example was Tonight, because you guys made me discover how great that album is. I knew it was good, but I didn't know every single song on Diary was a 10. So I can't include it in being like frustrated, because I think it's the best heavy metal album ever. So now it's said by me as well. Some
It's a
support
strong
for it.
contender.
It's
Strong
very strong
contender.
album. And Tonight, when it fades out, you want to
Yeah.
hear more of that. And this was a little bit of that case too, in a
Yeah,
lighter way.
Could have gone another
Yeah,
15
yeah.
minutes. All right, Love Made a Fool of Me. Johnny, the Swedish Fish. What do you think?
Swedish Fish. It was lighthearted. I helped a friend move today, and that's always a bitch, right?
Oh yeah.
I couldn't dodge it, and I've tried not to ask friends, and I've tried, so that I could dodge it with a clear conscience, but I couldn't this time, because he even listed the guys that couldn't. This guy couldn't. This guy couldn't.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, I told him like that was a great way to pitch it, because I had to. So yeah, this lighthearted kind of upbeat thing feels good to me, with some aching limbs. Not really, but it took like 8 hours. It always takes 8 hours.
Oh,
So yeah, I liked it. It was good for me. So 4.
4, nice. I had a friend that I helped move. I helped him move. I've moved what? Once, twice, 3, 4. I guess I've moved myself 5 times. I think I moved him 6 times. And
He ever
all
helped you?
within a brief period of time when we lived in New York. So it was always moving from one borough to another, moving from Manhattan to Brooklyn or Brooklyn to Queens or whatever it was. And oh man, it's just the worst. And it's like with no moving truck, it's just that was the other reason I'd be asked, is because I had like a big Jeep at the time, so I could, I moved my wife when we were going out from Manhattan to Brooklyn, and we did that in like 3 trips. But it's like it's a hour drive from one to the other, and then you're coming back and getting more stuff. She had basically nothing too. It was just took forever. I hope I'm never, if somebody asks me to help them move now, I'll just be like, okay, I'm just gonna write you a check. I'm so sorry.
I'll pay for the
you
movers.
Have a GoFundMe?
Well, yeah, like my dad with the airport. No, what's the taxi? I don't want to do that. It's too stressful.
Exactly.
I get it though. I get it. It's very stressful. you know.
No, it's just a pain in the ass. But all right, John, Italian John.
There we go.
I like
You
it.
have Swedish John and
Swedish
Italian
John
John.
and Italian John.
Oh, I'll give this one a 3. I think that the best adjective that I've heard that we've thrown around for this one was upbeat.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so far I like the kind of the vibe that he's got going on this album. I think it's a very kind of pop rocky late 70s album, which is a good thing in this case. I think it's very enjoyable so far. And in this song, like I was thinking about it earlier, but and not everybody might get it, but since we're talking about late 70s, Bernie's vocals really sound a lot like late 70s. There was a teen idol personality, Leif Garrett.
Yep.
And if you listen to any of his stuff, he has that same, I think it's the same kind of effects too, but it was also like maybe around this time, it was like 17, 18. I mean, Bernie must have been what, at least 10, 15 years older than that.
Yeah.
Around this time, or maybe at least 10 years older. So, I mean, they still were both in that same age range, but it's like a very young, like almost teen idol sounding voice, but not a bad thing because it's like I said, his voice is really a saving grace for this, because you could have a crap vocalist on this stuff and it would just be not good.
It sounds like it's easy to mix when I hear it. Like, oh, nice, it sits right there. You know, you don't have to cut out too much bottom end or anything like that. And it doesn't sound like it would be boomy or anything. So put him in a good room, it's gonna sound great. And you know, he kept sounding like this for some reason. He sounds like a young, like you said, Nate, a young guy singing all the time, very like fresh. There's been no cigarettes, and I'm sure there have been cigarettes.
I don't think he was ever a smoker.
Okay.
I
thought everyone smoked back then. You know, what is he gonna do? Drink milk?
Yeah. Well, you brought up Leif Garrett, so of Norwegian descent. I was unclear if it was going to be Swedish, Norwegian, but turns out it's Norwegian. All right.
We had a Norwegian trip today. Actually, we talked some Norwegian in between two Swedes as we moved to amuse ourselves. Just putting it in there. It's a very fun. It's a great, very happy sounding language. I love it.
What a Norwegian is?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know it, but it's so close to Swedish that we can kind of fake Norwegian, you know?
Yeah, you can. Is it Finnish too? Are they all? I'm assuming.
Oh no, Finnish is a different tree, man.
No, that's what.
It's not as. I mean, English and Swedish are way closer than Swedish and Finnish. It's something happened. It shares roots with the Ugric, you know, like Hungary. Don't ask me why.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a very weird language.
Oh, I didn't rank this one, did I? Let me go back here. I'm gonna give it. I'm again gonna bridge the gap, and I'm gonna give this a 3.5. I really dig it. Really fun, upbeat, poppy song. Yeah. What more is there to say? Next track up might sound familiar. It's called "Here We Go Again." Before he wrote "Here I Go Again," a few years earlier. So, are there any similarities? I don't know. Let's take a listen. So, here we go again.
Lineup.
And here we go again with Nate forgetting the lineup.
I think it's all right in the beginning. I think we established.
Jack Bruce, Simon Phillips, Bernie Marsden, Don Airey.
Oh, Don Airey enters the building. Hello, guys. Neil Murray on bass, you said?
Bass, yeah.
This is Murray, right?
No, Bruce.
This is Jack Bruce. Arpeggio.
This is Doreen Chanter and Irene Chanter, the Chanter sisters, the background vocals. surprised they didn't have more people covering his songs because he's such a strong songwriter.
Good song. Now we even get the kind of Ritchie Blackmore arpeggio going on the piano.
Yep.
Could be a rainbow part.
Yeah.
Actually, just that arpeggio though. Or maybe this too, if you go into lesser rainbow. No. But it wouldn't have been as clean. The distortion of it. That was cool.
Nice.
Yeah, he does have perfect time.
Yeah,
He takes it back.
He's only right.
He takes it back. He does have perfect time.
Yeah. So this is an excellent bass cut. No two ways about that. Oh, that's cool. Video game time.
Yep, totally.
I love that.
Just having bands this strong behind you has just got to be amazing.
There's got to be a trip to play on top of. And sing.
I don't want this to come across as like I'm saying anything bad, but you could almost make any song and get this group of musicians doing their thing behind you, and it's gonna just
Yeah, you're right. But then again, it's always kind of follow through is more important than idea,
Yep.
generally, I think. It's a pretty bad idea with excellent follow through, can be good. Nice end, by the way. Bam.
Yep. Just
Yep.
boom.
The quick end.
Yep.
All right. So that was here we go again. Not here I go again. All right. Just Swedish Johnny, what do you think?
Yeah, so neither hobo or drifter this time.
No hobos or drifters were harmed in the
Nope,
making of the
nope.
song.
This is a hard one for me to kind of put a grade on, because I felt sometimes the song was fighting itself. Weird thing, but it's like when the vocal hook, and then you had something cool instrumental, and I wanted to hear more of that, and then the vocal hook came back again. So the experience was a bit jolted, I guess you could say, for me, or just a bit jumpy. So I'll have to land on, but there were some amazing parts too. It's really tough. I'll give it 3 anyway. So I'll be hard on it, because like it could have been a better structure, I think. Probably it's that, because I did like all the individual parts, but it felt like it was fighting itself a bit. So 3 it is.
All right. Italian Johnny.
Oh, I'll echo that 3. I'll give it a 3 as well. I thought it was good. I felt like the chorus was kind of repetitive. Like toward the end, it's like, here we go again. Here we go. It's like, yes, here we go again.
It was like an annoying hook in a while, right? After a while, like the hook is supposed to be pleasant at the time. That's the point of a hook, like pleasant and very clear. But this, I agree with you that it was kind of wearing on me towards the end.
Yeah, me too. I think that was the thing, and it was hooky and catchy. It was just repetitive. So, but I did like everything else in the song, just as the previous songs. I thought that it was just another upbeat, pleasant, poppy kind of number. Not really so far what I was expecting from Bernie. I guess I was expecting something a little more hard rock. But I mean, that's by no means a bad thing. I'm a little surprised, but I mean, it's a good surprise, because so far it's been a pretty good listen.
Yeah, and he hadn't been in Whitesnake for very long at this point, but maybe he had accumulated a few songs that maybe just wouldn't work in that format. So I said, you know what, I'll throw these together on an album. But I'm going to give this one a 3.5. I really like it, but I can totally see what what John's saying is it was kind of fighting itself, and there was a lot of, it was very busy. With everyone was busy. The bass was busy. The drums were busy. The keys were busy. And I really enjoyed a lot of it, but it was there was a lot going on, and I really liked the background vocals. And I think we'll see them on another track or two, so be interested to see how those are they on another? Yeah, they're on one more track, I think. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Okay, so the last track on this side of the album, and I'm actually going to remember and do this before the song. This is an instrumental. Bass, Neil Murray. Drums, Cozy Powell. Guitar, Bernie Marsden. And vocal. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not an instrumental. Guitar and vocals, Bernie Marsden. And keys, Don Airey. So let's take a look to this one. It's called Still the Same. Flangy.
Yeah, he brought out the modulation for this album. I haven't heard him use that much of the mod. Well, there's some in Whitesnake though, for cleans and stuff.
Almost sounds like Metallica picking up those chorusy.
It sounds like good Metallica, I would say. Yeah.
Ride the Lightning.
80s Metallica. Let's be frank.
This is a longer song.
Yes.
I like how it starts. It's the most Guitar Hero vibe so far. Even though he's not playing complicated stuff, it's just very heroic, you know.
Almost
Yeah,
Pink
totally
Pink Floyd-y.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah,
that too.
almost.
Shine On, a bit like that. You Crazy Diamond. It's a different tonality, but the space. Space! I'm totally stuck on that these days.
I know, I love it.
Total space. Oh, nice. It's a bit of the harmony vocal. Can't go wrong with that. Or actually you can, but...
Kind of fun. I can almost imagine this on one of David Coverdale's solo albums.
I love the addition of the harmony vocals. I mean, they had choirs before, background singers, but this is the first of that kind of dual.
The dual Bernies.
Synth is killing it. Nice and slow hanging feel too.
Yeah. They're like, are we gonna pick it up and rock it yet? Nope. You're gonna have to.
Yeah, you gotta be a pro to play like that. On the drums.
That's cozy. Don Airey's apparently playing Hammond, Moog, and piano on this.
Yep. Kind of a hypnotic way to start up.
Kind of heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without distortion, it's still kind of a heavy metal vibe to the entire track, though. I think.
Yeah, you're expecting it to really.
It sounds more 60s. Yeah, exactly. From the intro chorus into that massive distortion, it's not gonna happen. It has some kind of like Crosby, Stills, Nash kind of vibe too, though, so it's hard to say. Like, it's a pretty wide array.
It's like uncertainty. Is it gonna get heavy? What's it gonna do?
The tonality here is very metal, right? Very metal tonality. Very dark.
It's got this. Yeah, it's got this. If you just stripped away everything but the guitar, you'd think it was Metallica. But then you listen to what.
Yeah, but you're right. I agree. But when you bring that dark melody into this nice, smooth groove, I like that instead of the wall of distortion, you know. That quack.
Yeah.
All the great blues players, they know how to do that. You know, just kill the note quickly at the right point. What? Yeah, it always sounds great.
I'm thinking of it in the context of a side closer too. It's nice rock, sort of rocking outro to the side.
Yeah, tasteful playing too. Kind of ebb and flow, you know. Ramps it up, but then it goes back again. Like there's no stress, and that's why he was always late for work.
He needed more stress.
There's no stress in his playing.
Not stressing being to work on time. Not stressing playing the right notes.
This is a bit Sabbathy as well, I think now.
Yeah, I can hear that.
You know.
Right. Kind of a haunting little ending to the side there. And that was still the same.
That was cool.
How about the Swedish fish and the Italian meatball? Don't you guys do that on your?
Yeah, we do two meatballs because we are two
meatballs, Swedish
two
meatball
cultures that
and,
celebrate the meatball. So we did that before on So Far So Pot So What, and then it was the meatball mile, and then Greg was like, "Can we make it the format smaller?" And we turned it into meatball kilometer. Yeah. Also, I have some Fahrenheit questions for you, but we do that after because it's not hella entertaining, I think.
We won't tell Greg that you're hanging out with a different Italian meatball tonight.
I think the more the merrier. So anyway, rating the song, right?
Okay. Our friend Scott that we had on a few episodes ago, his dad used to call us meatballs sometimes. Yeah, you meatballs. And my cousin Jeff would get so mad. He'd be like, "Oh, I think that's a compliment.
It's a compliment. I'm very happy to be a meatball."
It would really hurt him when he got called a meatball.
Yeah, well, he was young. Maybe he was young.
No, he wasn't. That's the funny thing. We were probably 19.
Well, that's like borderline territory. You could still
be
touchy at 19, I think.
A hell of a lot younger than we are now, but it was late to be getting offended by that.
Yeah.
All right.
I was gonna rate the song. And this was also hard to rate for me because it's almost like I would have had another listen, you know. Let's say I was just sitting here and I was supposed to write a review. I would definitely rewind and listen again because I didn't fully catch the song. So I can't say if the overall was good or bad, but I can say that what I caught was great. So hard to judge. I'll safe it out and say 3.5 because that's somewhere in the middle of what I probably would think of it if I listened to it again.
Sure. All right. John.
The Italian.
Italian.
All right, there we go. All right, let's keep this rolling.
Yes,
the meatball rolling. Oh.
Yeah, how did I miss that one? I'll give this one a 3.5 based on that this was kind of a left turn. I was thinking during the song this was probably like Bernie's trying to create an epic, you know.
Yeah.
His 6-7 minute long song, he had this kind of brooding beginning, a lot different from what he had before, and it was a lot of different sections and parts to it. made it a little more complex. He had some good soloing in here, but I think just like Jonatan said, like overall, I'd probably have to hear it again to kind of get a better feel for the whole song, because I was just kind of taking it in. But I appreciate it for its epic nature.
Side closer as well.
Yes.
Gotta love that with the vinyl, that you have two openers, two
Yes.
shots at a great opener, and you have two shots at a great closer. Sometimes, like Sign of the Southern Cross, it's the closer of the A side, not the B side.
Mm.
You can have over and over, totally different type track. So,
Yes.
I like the vinyl. It's not only for hipsters. It's better than that. They don't equate those things.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll give this a 3.5 as well. I kind of wish it had gone somewhere a little bit more intense. Like it had that, like you said, that epic feel. Like you figured it was going to really, really take off. But it still was like a really cool way to wind down that side of the album, I thought. Kind of a nice one. And I think this is the first song we've all lined up perfectly on. So
pretty high ratings though so far, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of those ones. I think if I listen to this a bunch more, that I might, some of these things could bump up a little bit. But as a first real true listen, so far from the one side that we've heard, I'm very impressed, and I think this is one of those just kind of rare gems by all of these guys, for everyone from Martin Birch to the Deep Purple guys to everybody, just one of those rare gems that's kind of almost forgotten, and in the background,
that
that
more forgotten or less forgotten than Green Bullfrog, I gotta ask. Or is it the same territory in terms of
hidden? I guess it's kind of similar, right? It's just
I think
you could pick. There's probably 20 albums like this that we've covered so far that you could pick. You could pick any one of them at random and just say, "Oh, here's another just great example of great players, great production, all have of a similar mind and a similar goal and a similar production style," and you just put it on and just enjoy it. If you like this kind of, if you like this show or listen to this show because you like this style of music, then you're gonna dig this album. And there's so many we haven't even heard or touched on yet that kind of fit this mold as well. So
yeah, and I think in a way when you do the family tree, you actually highlight also the different sides of the band Deep Purple, because they have that sometimes disco, sometimes funk, all of that in them, right? Or sometimes epic, sometimes metal leaning, but it's a hard rock band, so it's kind of like, the disco stuff. It makes sense.
Yep. It covers a lot of
ground. It has a home.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, as we flip this one over, the first track, the side opener, is called Sad Clown.
That's a funny title. Sad
Clown. Pagliacci?
Ears of a Clown.
Speaking of Italian.
Oh, that's an interesting intro, though.
So who's on this?
Oh, sorry.
Kind of rushy intro.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Right.
Jack Bruce, Simon Phillips, Bernie Marsden, and John Lord.
Oh, John Lord.
Listen to those dynamics. Oh, John Lord, that's big. In the intro, the dynamics on the toms.
Yep.
Chef's kiss. I could still hear Geddy Lee singing this.
Yep.
I'm playing the bass too, actually. But they were big Cream fans. So.
They've done that a few times with this album. So.
And the shower, I love that. The hi-hat shower.
Ooh. Little claps.
There's no time to be a sad clown. Sad clown.
This is another long one, too.
Yeah, it's almost a lot longer than you think a song of this subject matter would be.
Like a mockery to someone. No time to be a sad clown. Sad clown.
Yeah, there's probably not a Swedish equivalent of that expression, is there? I would say it's an uncommon American expression. Sad clown.
Sad clown. I think we could say that. It's less than clown.
Because there's like a lot of the happy clowns at the circus, but some of them have like the tears, the tears.
Yeah, exactly. The Tears of a Clown. One of the worst Iron Maiden titles, I think. A song about Robin Williams, I think it is.
Oh,
The comedian.
Yep.
Yeah. But a terrible title for it. Tears of a Clown. It's supposed to be a tribute. You clown.
A touching tribute. I'm gonna write a touching tribute to you. This is the word clown is gonna be the title of the song.
Yeah. And tears. Up, up. This is a very poppy song.
Very, yeah.
When I hear something with poppy, I always wonder if they would have fueled it with shit tons of marketing money, would it have been big? Or is it like lacking something?
You have to think of it in terms of 1979. Maybe. Hard to say.
The chorus, not my favorite. Except for the bass, which is awesome.
Oh, talk box.
Or
Add
actually
friend.
vocoder maybe.
Oh, maybe.
But it did sound exactly like a talk box at first.
Oh, now it's
Oh,
getting even
ditties. I
poppier.
like ditties.
You
Can
like
never go
these.
wrong with a ditty. Ditty bag. Ditty bag.
It was weird that he threw on the talk box for like 10 seconds and then it just went away.
I don't
Maybe
even
he
know
just
if it
bought
was
it now.
10.
He wanted to show off his new toy.
It's felt like he hit like 4 or 5 notes and he's like, yeah, I'm done with that.
The guitarist that comes into the rehearsal space always is trying new stuff.
It was like, hey, Bernie, we'll give you this free talk box, but you got to use it on your next album, okay? And
Fine.
make sure you credit us in the liner notes. Oh, sure.
It's like, all right. All right, I'm done.
Peter Frampton
Oh,
got
nice
distracted.
anthemic guitar melodies here. Like it's almost
This is good
too
stuff.
thematic to be a solo. It's almost more like a melody or a lead. I like it.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta say, pretty incredible bass.
Yeah,
The way he
good
moves
stuff.
and operates through the song, through the groove, is very,
I'm loving everything Jack Bruce is doing on this album.
very impressive, really.
I wish John Lord was a little more upfront.
Yeah, what happened with that?
He's playing the organ, I guess. Just nothing.
But it
Yeah,
ain't the
duh.
early 90s, then you could expect him to be buried. Or anything Whitesnake.
Yeah.
Maybe this
Funny.
is something Whitesnake.
It's funny to have John Lord. Hey, John, would you come play on my song? Yeah, sure. Here's the 4 chords you're going to be playing.
Yeah, and then
Like,
kind of
why
mix him
wouldn't you have
down,
him
yeah.
just bust out a solo?
And I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't know. I mean, maybe sometimes John Lord just likes to jam on something simple. He's like, yeah, I'll be part of the
relax.
group. I'll be
Yeah.
part of
Yeah,
the
I'm sure it was
crowd.
a
I don't
one
have to
take
be
for him.
front and center all the time. But I mean, we want him to be. But
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, I
And I guess
guess
if you're Bernie Marsden, you're like, well, you know John Lord, and it's not like, well, this is kind of probably pretty early in the relationship. But for me, if I had the opportunity to have John Lord on my song, I wouldn't be like,
15-minute
it's going
solo.
to go from D, and then it's going to go to C, and then we're going to do a G major. Okay, you with me so far? And then we're going to go back to C. Okay, can you do that? Oh, do you want me to
Yeah.
do any solos? No, please. I don't want to trouble you.
Now
So-
I'd be like, I've written out this this bit for you. It's a 15-minute solo. We're gonna change modes
yeah, exactly.
7-8 times. I spent a week writing this.
I'm going to
that's what I
vamp
would do.
between 2 chords, and you can solo, do whatever you want. How does that sound?
see, I wouldn't be so specific. I'd be like, all right, so I just need you to go somewhere in
Zoom
there.
cut
Can
you
you
out
do
on
that?
that
Can
one.
you do that thing? That
Yeah.
noise? Can you?
He's got many good noises
Yeah, exactly.
for sure.
Okay. The John from Sweden.
Ooh, the rating again. This was another pretty tough one to rate because it kept winning me back. So I got a little tired of it. We spoke of something maybe not totally off topic, but a little bit. So that's usually a sign of not listening proper, right? And then it kind of won me back with some thematic. do on the guitar. So I mean, a song that wins you back, that's a good sign. If it can win you back, you're not going to just wait for the next track to like pique your interest again.
Yep.
So it's got to be another 3.5 for this.
All right, John from Rhode Island.
I'll give it a 3.5. Ooh, I'll give it a 3.5 as well. I almost gave it a parenthesis. 3-point parenthesis.
All of our formulas.
Yeah, this is another one that I think was just kind of approaching album track. I feel like they're all album tracks though. I haven't heard anything where I'm like, oh, this could have been a single, like type of thing. But I think that where it really got me was the end, the outro solo, which is what I'm here for. I'm here for some Bernie soloing, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that the songs are pretty good. I think they're short of great, just because we're having that thing I think that we're talking about is it's kind of going off in a direction, and then maybe we're not paying attention as much, and then we get hooked back in with something. But yeah, that's where I stand.
I will also give it a 3.5, lining up at 2 songs in a row. I hate the name and the just sad clown, the term. Like I just hate it.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the thing. I forgot it when I was
Yeah.
rating it. I almost would have to pull it down, but I'm not gonna, you know, what's said stands.
Yeah.
But I forgot to say, the chorus wasn't my thing at all. Like, you know what I'm saying, clown?
I don't mind. I just
It's like it's schoolyard mockery.
I try to like not listen to the chorus itself was good apart from the term sad clown, but like
it was well composed. Yes. Yeah.
It reminds me of a lot of like sappy songs from the 70s, like you know, just the whole term sad. Oh, it's a sad clown. Oh my god, it's like it's supposed to be someone that's bringing laughter to people, but on the inside he's sad. It's like I get it. It's not
in Sweden. It's like a symbol for trash art. It's a crying clown. That's like it's a symbol. It's the icon for trash art. You know, that it's sold very cheaply.
Yeah, I feel like that was like when we were kids. I remember like they had the velvet Elvis. It was like an Elvis that was painted on velvet, and I feel like sad clowns were also like right next to that in the gallery. It was just
teaming
like
up with velvet Elvis,
painted on black velvet. You know, just absolute, just terrible. But
and the deep message. He's supposed to be a funny guy. He's the funny laughing clown. If not even he is happy.
he spends so much time making other people laugh. No one makes him laugh.
Yeah, who's going to entertain the entertainer? That's a part of their Maiden song too. Not a good lyric. Who will entertain the entertainer? Like, oh, so deep.
Who's going to entertain the entertainer, motherfuckers?
Haven't got to that song. Yeah, motherfuckers. We haven't got to that song yet. That's very Harris though, and he would never enter the room saying that. He would say something almost incomprehensible in very Cockney English. It's hard to understand sometimes.
Yeah, right. You gotta let them go for a minute before your ears adjust.
Yep. You're doing right, boy. I like your Aussie. That's a good British accent.
My Aussie impression.
Yeah, it's great. And Motola's Obama is also great.
Yeah. Yes. And
good Lord.
And his
I'm
Jennifer
Obama.
Coolidge is also quite good.
Good Lord.
I heard
I'm
Coolidge.
Obama.
I was at the shop before recording with you guys. Now I heard Coolidge. That was your best yet.
That was actually really
Coolidge
good.
was really good. Yeah, and she's great too. Very identifiable.
You're
good.
Yeah, it was only a few seconds, but the Jennifer Coolidge, it was like you threw it out there, and then you were like,
John's
Jennifer
best.
Coolidge, and you lost it.
Yeah, that's cool too. But it was your best yet. Very good.
It's like, hey, oh God, I can't do it. Just hey.
No, not on order, right? You know.
Yeah, I think it was a fluke. You just kind of went into it, and then you'll never get it back.
Yeah, just like now, if I try it, it's just like I'll sound like anybody. It's like, good Lord, I'm Jennifer Coolidge.
Good Lord,
Oh,
yeah,
no,
I like
I'm
that one.
mixing up my impersonation. Oh God.
No, but we said it all the time in Sweden. Like, no, not on order. You know, not by demand, by request.
Yeah, it's got to flow naturally.
Exactly. Oh boy. Okay, so next up we have the track Brief encounter.
Brief. Is it a midnight rendezvous?
There's the blues.
It does sound a bit
There we
midnight
go.
rendezvous-ish.
This is Jack Bruce, Ian Paice, Bernie Marsden, John Lord, and Don Airey.
The
Wow,
true
so-
Blues Authority.
Yes, right. The English Blues Authority, not the LA Blues Authority.
Well, 3 of the future Deep Purple.
Yes.
That's true. The future.
No
Yeah.
future again.
Don Airey on keys.
They would all either join or rejoin Deep Purple after this.
Don Airey keying, right?
And this looks like.
No, wait a minute.
So
More
Don
than
Airey's
he's-
on synths and Lord is on
Okay.
Hammond.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well stopped.
So they're both on this.
Yes.
Okay, I think I might. That's why I said, wait a minute. I'm like, did I miss that? Are they both doing keyboards on this?
Talk
missed
about a
it too.
power move. He was like, I'm going to have John Lord, but I just don't know if he can nail it all himself. Bring in Don Airey. He's going to back him up.
That's what I mean, like well staffed, you know.
Yeah, yes. Unlike Bernie's machine shop here.
1 to 2 hours late daily. But he's a rocker. What are you gonna do? Full harmonies again.
Yeah, Bernie's really like doubling and harmonizing his parts a lot.
I like that. I
Yeah.
haven't heard him do that a lot. He doesn't do that a lot in Whitesnake, I don't think.
That seems to be his move here, though. Like on this album, quite a bit.
And not overly often, right? But ever so often.
Well, probably harder to convince Mickey Moody. Hey, I'm gonna go overdub some extra guitars for me. Like,
But
not
classic,
enough for both of us?
Classic blues bass in this one. Dum, 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 dum.
Got
Woke
Jack
up
Bruce.
this morning. Seems to be instrumental. Interesting to have the most traditional blues type song be an instrumental. Interesting.
Yeah,
move.
right.
And very harmonized as well. When I listen at like lead work, I always listen for how the end phrases or the entire solo. And he's always on point with the end.
Yep.
I think it's the hardest. Yeah.
Oh
Jack
man,
Bruce
he's
is always lobbying for more.
Nice extended phrasing.
Only 16 more bars, and I'll give it back to you, Bernie.
Yeah, he kind of extended it around, you know, over the bar of the round, so it sounded anyway.
he's all me.
Is he really though? You get the feeling of like a very, very nice man when you listen to him. He's not in there, right?
Yes.
He has no pick. He has no pick bar.
Yeah.
That's
He
for
just
sure.
uses the same one for the entire show.
Yeah, the entire year. Also, the timing when his lead work is always cool timing wise.
Yeah, great phrasing, great timing.
We're not ending on the keynote. That's cool too.
Yeah, no, I was gonna mention that. I like how he ended on that particular note.
Yep. Yep. It's
Very
sort of
like very
the story
sad.
goes on, and the story goes on, or something.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, there you
unresolved,
go.
unresolved. I like it.
See, Johnny's got a way of putting it into words.
He does. He's
I've met
He's
many
the-
people that have, so I picked up small stuff along the way. You know, people just like weirdos, and they can describe music in a weird way. Like, this is the clock tower. This song is the clock tower. It's like it is. In fact, yeah, it is the clock tower. Like you don't know how or why. Yeah.
It's
well,
just
John
a,
has the greatest command of the English language out of the three of us, that's for sure.
Hmm.
That's a hard one to take, though. You can never take it, but I do like it. I like the language.
It's nice. It's nice to have options. We're just dumb Americans. We can, as Brian Regan. I think it's Brian Regan that says that. Like that's like I know enough English to get by.
Yeah. Oh, Greg always brings that up too. But to me, I mean, the Americans I know are pretty bright. So I'm not like very familiar with this, but I have yet to go to the country, and then maybe I can tell you about it.
Yeah, then you'll see we're all bullshit artists.
Or I mean, from the stories, like from the lady in Walmart. That's a great story. And that's a
lady in
scene
the-
you would never see that scene in Sweden. It's
Oh,
that's like,
the way people dress in Walmart.
no, I think it was someone in Walmart like, "What time is it?" or something like that, just shouting.
What John was saying. At the
That would
dollar
never
store.
happen in Sweden. Very exotic. Very exotic.
That's
Yeah,
one
yeah.
way to put it.
It wouldn't happen here. Oh, I don't know.
It wouldn't happen here most places, but at the dollar store, all bets are off.
What time is it?
Oh man, I almost forgot about that. That was the craziest.
Yeah, good one.
I
That's a
can't
good one.
remember. It was one of the Black Sabbath episodes with Rye. I just don't remember which one, but you told that
And
story.
I remember they were just like, it's like 246. Holy shit!
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
What?
the
What was
punchline.
she-
Holy shit!
Well, what did
She's
she have to
late. Where is
rush
she
off
supposed
to do, man?
That's kind of a sudden realization. Like, wow.
Oh, I'm late for something.
For what? You don't have a watch?
No,
Oh.
to this day, I'll never know.
Yeah, it was the dollar store like board meeting or something. She's probably the chairman of the board. Gonna be late. All right, Johnny, what do you think of Brief Encounter?
Brief Encounter was a cool song with great guitar. I got lost in the guitar. So in this song is a different reason for sort of wanting to hear it again, because I got a little lost there in the guitar when he got into the really nice, cool licks, and I started listening. Oh, how is he ending licks? Oh yeah, great. Oh, another great move. Oh, a great move. So this was maybe the most like guitar-centric tune for me as a listener. And it's an album by a guitarist, so in due time, I guess. I'm gonna have to go 4 because it did feel ever so slightly cooler, and also the fact that they just did the lazy blues song of the record.
Mhm.
I've started using that, that expression as well. This was kind of it, but was it lazy? Not really. It was instrumental. I kind of like, a different take on a standard topic, you could say, and I think this was it. So I'm gonna give it a 4.
All right, Mr. Matola.
I'll give a 3.5 for with a reason here. I mean, I think that it could be a 4 song because this is definitely the blues song. This is what I'm hoping for, at least one track from Bernie. But the thing that really took it away is that everybody was kind of hanging in the back, doing their thing while Bernie was soloing. But Jack Bruce was just really taking focus off of things. He was way too busy during some parts of the song, because you're trying to listen to Bernie just be like bend a note and do this really kind of bluesy, soulful section. He's going, it's like, all right, you need to stop it. Okay. For me personally, that wasn't time for that. I could see if it were a rockin' song, if you were in the middle of something really high energy, high powered, like a fast rocker. I can think of some songs where that's appropriate, but in a song like this, I feel like he should have just taken a step back and maybe played a little more simply, because I don't remember thinking like, wow, John Lord should have settled down in this section. Like you didn't even know they were there, really. He should have been more of a supporting player. So I have to take it down a notch because it actually distracted me.
Makes sense. I didn't hear him in this one because I was so lost in, I don't know, maybe it's my way of focusing. It's all or nothing. So it was all guitar for me. I don't remember much else. But if that was the case, yeah, you're probably right. He shouldn't have been busy there, even though I didn't hear it,
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been great to hear a little less Bruce and a little more Lord, just doing some other things. But yeah, I mean, for a song that was probably just knocked out really quick, and it's just a standard blues progression. It certainly is kind of the lazy blues song, but at the same time, a very, very well played, and that's the very thing about every song on this album is just people at the top of their craft putting something down, even if it's just a one take thing, is better than most people could do if you gave them a month. So, all right, are you guys ready?
Did you rate it?
Ready for the penultimate song?
Did you rate it? You did, right?
Did I? 3.5.
3.5. Okay.
I might not have said it out loud though. I put it in the spreadsheet.
You rated
That
it
doesn't.
in your mind, which is the podcast.
Yeah, don't worry,
brain.
listeners. Okay. Yeah, so Are You Ready is the penultimate song. This is the song that John and I were kind of talking about a while back that kind of led us to say we should do this someday.
Yeah.
So here it is. The second to last track. Are you ready? And I did not mention it, of course, because I always forget. But this is Jack Bruce, Ian Paice, John Lord, and Bernie.
Bit of a honky tonk.
John Lord on piano and clavinet. So once I see clavinet, I usually get a little excited.
Bit of the rock and roll honky tonk, Elf.
Yeah, it could be an Elf song.
A bit. At least the rhythm is a bit.
Jack Bruce. That was awesome.
Perfect time.
Perfect time.
Perfect time.
I guess
Perfect
it makes
time.
sense. Yeah.
Go for it. I can't argue with him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kind of a good old rocker, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is one of those songs that's like, if it was on the Elf album, it would be like, oh, I love this song. And then the next song would sound just like it, and the next song would sound just like it.
Yeah, that's the problem with Elf. Yeah.
When you're throwing it as a one-off, it's exciting.
Yeah, they haven't done the good old rocker yet.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, too little of that. Finally, some like B3 action, and then it's 12 seconds.
I'm not hearing the clavinet yet unless it comes in at a different section.
Yeah, because it tends to be a very audible instrument, right?
What's that?
The clavinet, it tends to be very audible.
Yeah, it's very sharp.
Stands out.
It usually stands up.
The closest to Whitesnake, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Oh.
Ooh,
Here we
getting
go.
tighter. It's a bit- Oh yeah.
Oh, he brought it
Blockbuster
back
back
per his
up.
contract.
I gotta say, it fit quite well there.
That must have been, it has to be on 2 songs on the album. That's why you only threw it in for a few seconds on the other one.
But it's 100% funky town now, suddenly,
Yeah,
and I like it. Uber groove, It's a groove. It's a double groove. Whatever that would mean. California love. A little bit.
I mean, honestly, this is how every song should end.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Hmm.
All right. Are you ready? Are you ready to rank this song?
Always ready, like the Boy Scouts. That's the motto around here, anyway. Always ready.
Always ready?
Alltid redo. Yeah.
Here it's be prepared.
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
is kind
Different
of the
mentalities, I guess.
Same idea.
Or maybe actually exactly.
For me,
the same.
it's fuck this shit.
Fuck this shit. I'm going home. Yeah, I like that. This song was easier because at the end I was feeling like, okay, I'm not going to be so generous. This is going to be a 3. But then they did that thing. They did the party thing. It's like,
Yeah.
like, come on. I'm going to have to go 4 because it's just that move.
Mhm.
That move they did. to me as a listener, starting to feel like a bit stingy with my numbers. Like, oh, it's a 3 for this, and like, wouldn't that like, that's great. It's gonna have to be a 4. Yeah,
That's a good impression.
a party at the end, you know.
Yeah. Yep. John?
I'm gonna give it a 4. My first 4 of the album. Yeah, that's exactly why.
Yeah.
No, I think the whole song had this good time feeling to it. This good rockin' type of vibe to it, and nothing overshadowed anything else. You got some good vocals, great guitar playing. You got the female background vocals coming in. You got a little John Lord, just enough to make you want more. A funky outro. It was just I think probably we got one song left, but my guess is this will be the best song on the album.
I would I really dug the opener, but yeah, this one is really strong. But yeah, I give this one a 4 as well. Really great stuff. Just up so much of this album is just very upbeat and happy sort of stuff, and this is no exception. And I just really love all the little frills and things they put in this one. It's great.
Yeah, just like a rock out party as well.
Mm-hmm.
When you nail that vibe, it's gonna be great.
So the last track up is Head the Ball. This one looks like it's an instrumental. Jack Bruce, Simon Phillips, Bernie Marsden, Don Airey. So not a bad lineup on this album. This song is no exception. So here we go.
I have a little game for this song. I'm very happy to not be typecasted as the Iron Maiden only guy, because I talk enough about that band. But in this song, for you Maiden fans that listen to this show, there are a few. Find the Maiden riff. There's a Maiden riff hidden in this song that I think Steve might have stolen for one of the Maiden's biggest tunes as well.
Really? All right.
Yeah, it's there.
Let me see if I can pick it out. I'm definitely not as well versed in Maiden, but here we go. Head the
Should
ball.
be familiar with that track. This is the one song I actually heard. So maybe we were talking about 2 different songs, not knowing it.
Maybe it was
this song I'm very familiar with. Yeah. Just have a listen. Yeah. A little bit heist, you know?
Yeah.
Nice bass move. Right.
Yep.
Same producer as well.
Well,
chances are he is known as Steel Harris. This is a cool part too. Very fusiony.
Yep.
Very Deep Purple New York.
Going back to that little theme.
Oh yeah.
Very cool.
You're right though. Very fusiony now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very like problem-esque.
A little bit out there with the key on the keyboard. But it's cool. Video game, Nate. Video game.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's playing a Yamaha CS80 tandem mode.
Most extended soloing on the album for sure.
Yeah, right?
A rocking tone. Sounds like he was just a positive man, doesn't it? Every time he comes in with the melody, it's just like uplifting and...
Yeah, he's always got a smile on his face.
He seems like a happy guy.
Except when his boss is meeting with the time clock.
Yeah. Well, any other occasion. China.
Very busy.
I like that.
Simon Phillips. Nate, is it Simon Phillips?
Yes.
Or yeah. A China playing is very cool. Oh, picking up the tempo. This is an on-record drum solo. Yeah. Filter effect on.
Weird, he's still keeping the with the bass.
Some
drum
nasty
in
bass.
there.
Like fifths on the bass. Or an octaver, perhaps.
Yeah.
Like 2 notes, I think it sounds like to me anyway.
Great.
Arpeggio fades in.
Wow.
Ooh, strong ending.
Pretty
Yeah.
pretty powerful song. All right, let's get right into it. John, what do you think of?
Now you guys look quite happy. I thought it would maybe be a song where I had to really like defend it and maybe it wouldn't be anyone's cup of tea. But you guys look
Aw.
happy too. But I'm still gonna defend it and give it a 4.5 because I just really like this style, you know.
You're
Nate
gonna
knows this.
defend it against nothing.
Against nothing, I guess. I'm just gonna further praise it, I think. Let's see what happens.
Our perceived lashback.
Yeah, exactly. The future
You're banned
past.
from the Deep Purple podcast.
Oh no! As a listener, that'd be really bad. It's definitely my favorite podcast. I think one of them. So that'd suck. Don't ban me, please.
I don't think we have the infrastructure to do that, even if we wanted to.
Even if you wanted to. No, but 4.5, a great song. And Nate knows I like this kind of stuff. The kind of when it goes on an adventure, there's arpeggios, and this sounds like a video game, but it's way before video games. So you kind of understand that those Japanese guys, they were listening to Deep Purple and they were listening to this. And Iron Maiden if you were Mega Man. So, you know, it just kind of it kind of explains things to me as a lover of music, this kind of style, because that's when it comes together. This is similar to those when you find out that those sampled bass lines in those songs I liked when I was 6, that they were from funk songs. I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense. It kind of ties together.
Yeah, exactly.
So you gotta give it a high rating. I probably would have given it a high rating if it was this style and way worse as well. You know, just to kind of like say, here I am. So 4.5.
All right, John.
I'll give it a 4.
Right.
I really enjoyed it too. I mean, I like this kind of thing. It did have it was a very heavy rock and yeah, it did get into that fusion territory. But I mean, I like that. It didn't get too out there.
It didn't get super nerdy, right? It was still like you could catch the melodies and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, also, I mean, think about it too is that all the musicians on here are guys that have done this type of stuff before that we already like. So it's like I can't imagine that they would have done this style and have been like, ugh, you know.
Gross.
Fair point.
I don't know if it's a I think as a song like Are You Ready? I enjoyed it. Like I gave them both 4s. I don't think it's the same kind of 4 as Are You Ready? I think I like that one a little bit better, but I like this because it's like ultimately it's in my wheelhouse because you had solos. Yeah, you had solos.
Cool little like leads and riffs that they
and like and little hooks like you know.
Yeah, that kept reoccurring, right? To kind of like
Yeah, exactly.
anchor the
Like
song.
some really cool stuff that really just hooked you in, and it's just very, very complicated, but at the same time you're kind of following it, like you're going like this, you're going like, but you can still follow it, you know.
Yeah.
That's how I put it into words.
You're gonna have to watch the YouTube this week for that one, folks.
Very, very fair description.
It's me wiggling my fingers like there are a bunch of flies in front of me, and I'm
Dio episode.
Oh, gnats!
Was the Dio episode blocked on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, because we couldn't see your dance, right? There was this mid dance. Yeah.
Oh, was it me doing a dance? Was I doing my Mick
Yeah,
Jagger
I don't
dance?
remember which track. Yeah, Mick Jagger. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, you could never see it. No one could.
Oh boy, maybe I'll have to just cut that one little segment out and put it on.
Yeah, just film yourself
YouTube.
in a full-bodied mirror. has to be full-bodied.
My wife's used to that sort of thing. Hey, could you just film me doing a Mick Jagger dance for like 30 seconds? She's like, yep, sure. Here we go. Okay.
Yep.
She doesn't even ask any questions.
Yeah. What is the word?
She knows. She knows it's for work.
Weathered.
22 years of this nonsense for her. So, I will also give this a 4. Really dug this one a lot. I think it's the last 2 songs are 2 of the strongest on the album. I did dig the opener a little more than you 2 did, but overall just really solid album from start to finish. But
yeah, it was a great closer on the A side, right? I like that closer, and this was a different type of closer.
Yep.
So they took advantage of the format.
Yeah, two very different. Yeah, a totally rocking, frenetic closer here, and then the close of the A side was that more epic sort of feel.
More epic. Yep. Heavy metal, Metallica. I think we mentioned it was a bit of it there. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, a little Metallica flavor here, on that song anyway. Okay, so while John fumbles with the spreadsheets, I will do something, which is to thank our foundation level patrons coming in at the £3 and 50 cent or 50 pence Deep Purple New York tier. We have Lord Longford. At the £3 aromatic feed tier, we have Simon Ford and Richard Brees. At the $3.33 halfway to evil tier, we have Stephen Sharp and Duncan Leask. And at the $3 Nobody's Perfect tier, we have Peter Gardeau, Ian DeRosier, Mark Roback, Stuart McCord, Ivan Fjellbu, Runar Simonsen, JJ Stenard, Ruinous Inadequacies, John Maselli,
Samantha, that's a hickey.
Michael Boyette, and Corey Morissette.
Oh, he sounded so heartbroken.
He was his little girl.
Oh, that's a hickey. Okay.
Yeah, is that is there a word for that in Swedish?
Definitely something that sounds yucky. So I don't even remember it, but I know what it is. Yes.
Yeah,
I think the Swedish name for it is really yucky. I seem to recall.
It's yucky.
Yeah, I remember it as that. Anyway, you have Swedish listeners. They'll have the word in there.
Yeah. Our Swedish listeners, let us know what the Swedish word for hickey is. It's a
I'd
weird.
like to know the Norwegian word for it as well. So,
Norwegian, okay.
Eivind
And
Fjellbo,
Finnish.
Eivind Fjellbo, get back to me. There was a new theme there, Nate, wasn't it? The frog theme.
Oh yes, that's it's fairly new. The
Ribbit.
Ian, the Prague Frog theme.
Yeah.
At the $1.71 I want my own tier, we have
Rich, Yangui, Shaylor.
And at the 10 kroner tier, we have Karsten Lau. At the $1 made-up name tier, we have the sad clown of graveyards, Leaky Mausoleum, Stephen Somerville, the Concerto 1999 fanatic, Hank the Tank, Private Eyes, Ashen Lionel,
Blackmore tights.
Steve Down to Earth Kohler, Zwapper the Electric Alchemist, Anders Engstrom, Ashley, Rose, ICDC, and of course we have none other than Derple Purple.
Sweet.
Oh wait, that's somebody else.
That's freaking, what's his face? Björn Skifs.
That's our new I forgot to mention this because I thought it was, oh my goodness. Oh my god, folks. Unbelievable. We have usually I say this at the top of the show, but we
New
have
Patreon. I don't know.
yes. We have a new patron, and I never know where that sound clip is. So here we go. New patron.
New patron.
Purple Swede joining us at the $3.33 halfway to evil tier. He tried to actually join at the $3 nobody's perfect tier, but the Swedish what's your currency?
Krona.
The krona?
Crowns. Yeah.
Yeah, the Swedish
the 10
crown was
crowns
doing
tier.
particularly
Yeah.
well at the time of the joining, so bumped him up to the 333 halfway to
It's
evil.
not doing well right now, though. It's not.
No,
doing well.
oh well, this was
No.
just it was doing better, I guess, a few days ago.
For the day, I guess. For the day, yeah. We
came
can only
off
hope.
as almost exactly 333. So, Purple Swede says, I discovered Deep Purple as many years ago as Elvis was in this life, and there are not many bands in this world that are close to have the same amount of skills as Deep Purple had has had. I
Stemmer.
discovered the show when you started, and I really appreciate the work you've been laying down. He says, hopefully this
Nice.
text makes sense grammatically and so on. Purple Swede. So there you go. Purple Swede.
Sweet.
I will give a quick message to Purple Swede.
Yes.
Så, lila svensk. Trevligt att du har joinat och betalar som Patreon till den här fantastiska podden, min favoritpodd.
All right.
I don't know what
I said like you guys are assholes, you two.
I can't believe I'm
I
on
don't
a
know
show
what he
with
just
these
said,
jerks.
but hopefully it was
These
complimentary.
jerks, you know.
These jerks. No, you wouldn't dare.
not Johnny.
I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't do it. No.
But yes, utilizing as soon as I saw Purple Swede, I had to utilize Blue Swede and also the wonderful late Walter Matthau from Grumpy Old Men. Have you ever seen that movie?
I recognized it.
I've seen I think I've seen clips of it, and I'm familiar with Grumpy Old Men as a title, but I probably haven't seen the movie. I don't
It's a
think.
fantastic movie. The guys are just of one of the guys is of Swedish descent. His name, and his name is Jack Lemmon plays John Gustafsson.
John Gustafsson.
Not
That's one of the
John
few bass
Gustafsson.
players that are better than these guys we listen to today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One of the very few. It's probably my favorite bass player, but it's because of you guys.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But there's this one scene where Walter Matthau says they're just always insulting each other, and he says Gustafsson, you dumb friggin' Swede. So I tried to clip out his Swede bit from there. So
Like the Germans say, the dumme Schweden. And we call them, I don't know, something.
I think I got
Neighboring
confused because we had Derple Purple last week and then we Purple Swede this week. So I think I got confused. But welcome, Purple Swede. Sorry we didn't.
Lots of
mention the top
Scandinavians
of it.
supporting you. That's great.
I know, man. The Scandinavians, I think, have stepped up at a
They get
a
it.
disproportionate rate.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
the
I'm happy
Swedes
about
just-
that. That's what we try to do when it comes to quality music.
That's right. Absolutely. Okay, well, it is that time, and you know what we have to do. Take it away, Merms.
Well, John's busting out the spreadsheets, and he's fumbling with the tabs. Oops, he sorted it the wrong way.
Lots of new material. I like
Now he can't tell what is bad.
All right.
Val.
it. What was
Val.
What was that? I like
Oh
it.
my God.
Sorry, Ethel Merman, we got her in the studio to do a cover for us.
Yeah, from beyond the grave. Jesus.
From beyond the grave. All right. So, John, how does And About Time 2 stack up in our overall rankings?
All right. So we have our you and me combined rating 7.11. And I'll say that, let me see. My rating was the lowest. We had Johnny's was 3.78, the highest, you 3.67, and I come in a meager 3.44.
Okay.
So
Pretty close.
yeah, our combined rating though was get your name out of there.
Oh, sorry, I'm changing. I realized I had the episode number in as 525, so I just
Is
changed
it like a Google Doc and you come in there with your
Yeah,
cover?
Yeah, Nate was hovering over it and his name was blocking the rating. 10.89 combined. But in our spreadsheet, it's in the lower half, but I would say it's up toward the halfway point, like a little closer to the upper halfway point, which is good. And it's and I always say this, I always find it interesting. It's between Ian Gillan Share Kazoo, which is right above it, and Whitesnake Saints and Sinners right below
Wow,
it. So
there you
Bernie next to some Whitesnake. I mean, I'm sure that it's not you could fling any one of these musicians anywhere and they'll probably land next to a project they were in. But
Yeah, exactly.
always find that that's interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
When you talk about like the combined score for this one is 7.11 and Saints and Sinners is 7.10. So when we talk about all these albums, even the albums that are at the bottom of the list, or the margins are razor thin right now between albums.
Yes. And let's see. And let me see for our guest ratings. Let's see. Jonatan is right. You know what? We kind of in the guest ratings, kind of in the upper toward the middle, but not quite the middle, kind of like where Bernie's album is. So
yeah, so he's
It's
right.
fair.
Yeah, right about in the middle.
mhm.
I was hoping I wouldn't go wild and put it like up at Rising or something like that, because
No.
it's
No,
not.
it's
It's not,
not-
But I haven't
Sometimes you
been.
just
I
get
haven't
excited
been
about
like
an album
grading.
and that happens.
I haven't been reviewing a record before on the show, so I mean,
Mm.
you're always worried, like, oh shit, do I have the gauge right? There's always a gauge.
Like,
like, what is a 3?
The answer
What
is
is a
there's
3
just
for me?
there's no right answer. It's just
Yeah, but
like,
it's also it ended up lower than Rising, and that's cool. Then it's all cool.
yeah.
I think anyway. It did it? Hopefully.
Yep, it's lower than Rising.
Or Long Live Rock and Roll actually is probably the best of those. Anyway.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. And again, there's not like this album doesn't have. If anybody's got any reviews of anything of this, sure, send them my way. If there's anything like, I don't have anything for like chart position or anything. So, because this album I'm sure was not on the charts. But yeah, excited about this album. Excited to cover his next solo album in the future. Think it's just amazing seeing an album like this that has just the most unbelievable personnel imaginable on it. It's crazy how these albums like this are almost a dime a dozen. It's just like, oh, an album from the late 70s featuring all the best musicians ever. Oh yeah, no problem. There's probably 25 of them right here. It's
Yeah,
just
dime a
amazing.
dozen, but also like a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, it's incredible. And that's why the show will last probably, and we're gonna have to hand the show off to some younger people someday if there's still any interest in this kind of music. But
Yep.
I think we
Yeah,
got
it'll
another
be,
5 years in here.
Yeah, no, then we could just we can release the Deep Purple podcast avatars.
the avatars.
yeah,
The
Kiss
Deep
style.
Purple podcast holograms.
Hologram name.
AI
It's
will
almost
just fill
5
in our
years now,
dumb
isn't it?
jokes.
252 this episode. Shouldn't
Yeah.
260 5 years?
What's
Yep.
that? Oh,
Should be 260 episode. 260 like 8
yeah,
weeks.
we'll be
four.
hitting
Should
the
be
5-year
5 years,
mark
right?
in April. So pretty
It's
crazy.
almost part of Thunder territory right there.
Yeah,
we're
halfway there.
Halfway
Halfway to
there.
evil.
Well,
halfway to
Living on a
evil.
prayer. Oh,
if
halfway
they
to
miss
evil, yeah.
enough weeks in the next like 2 decades, maybe we'll catch up with them.
You never missed one. That's actually remarkable. Never
Not
missed
yet.
one.
Not yet.
Gotta say, it's remarkable.
Well, we
5 years, folks.
hope to keep it going. But.
Yeah.
What a
So,
streak.
Johnny, where
Cool.
can people find you if they when they fall in love with you and your amazing insight?
When
where
they
can
fall in
find
love
you?
with
What other
me.
shows are you on?
On this network, we got So Far, So Pod, So What, the transatlantic state-of-the-art speed metal podcast. Also, the Megadeth podcast, the one like yours.
Unbelievable that nobody did a Megadeth podcast.
What's your jingle again? It's the first
and
and
only?
only. Is it
Yep.
right? The first and only, and then
And I
you can
thought for
change
sure when we started that I'd
only
have to
just
change
the
it within
first.
like a few weeks, but still,
to just the first.
still
right.
no other one.
Still the first. But yeah, anyway, that's the Megadeth one. And then Maiden to Z has been going on for a bit now. Not 5 years, but we're at like 150 episodes.
Nice.
You've been going for a while.
When I hear from someone and they're like, I've started binging from the start, I'm like, oh my God. Like, that's an ordeal.
A lot, yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
every podcaster has that reaction. Like, but
Yeah.
anyone,
What did I
any one of
say?
us, I'm sure that's found a podcast we really love has done that. But then
Yep.
you hear somebody doing it to your podcast, and you're like, oh, don't do that. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, so that's it. On the same network, should be easy to find. If you want to find me, you got my name at least on the YouTube version of this, so you can look me up.
Fingers
that's
crossed.
about it.
It
That's-
doesn't get banned.
Yeah. Let's see if we get past. But anyway, yeah, it's been great to have been back on my
Yeah.
probably my favorite podcast. I think it might be.
Oh,
I don't want to be all hyperbolic, but it could be. It's a great podcast. So.
We
thank you.
appreciate it, man.
And now it's one
Yeah.
week that I already know, so it's kind of a minus for me, but nice to catch back up with you.
Imagine how I feel.
Well, we've always appreciated your friendship and your kind words, and love the things that you do, and love the insight. Love chatting with you on a daily basis, and just you have such a great. I've learned so many great terms from you, and just kind of ways of thinking about music in a different way. That's just always been really good. I enjoy hearing the music that you're making, and just so much fun. I always think of just things that you've enlightened me to, like what is the dinosaur riff?
Dinosaur riff, very important.
Like
yes.
it's just a riff that sounds like a dinosaur walking, and you're like,
Walking
oh yeah,
in.
like it's just like right off the bat, I know what you mean, and it's something that's like I've always known that, but I never had a term for it.
There's always a cousin involved, right?
It's always a cousin involved. Is another one, yeah.
No, anyway, likewise.
Yeah, well,
It's an ongoing, beautiful friendship.
an
Yes.
ongoing, mutual appreciation society here.
Yes,
So.
yes.
Well, John and John, thank you so much. Folks, we'll be back at you again next week. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be visiting you again with another hot topic. So see you next week.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Deep Purple podcast. If you like what you hear and would like more episodes in the future, please donate on Patreon to support the show. You can also leave us a review in Apple Podcasts to help new people discover the show. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for show updates. See deeppurplepodcast.com for more details. Thank you for listening.